Perfect. All good?
Perfect, thank you.
No worries, no worries. 1 second. Just gonna sorted. Okay, fab. Don't worry, breathe, you're grand.
Sorry.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in today. My name's Sophia, as you know, so I'm going to be running a session with you today. So I'm just going to give you a bit of info about like, kind of what we're doing here today, what we're going to be looking at. So session should be about 60 minutes. We might need to cut it a wee bit short, just that's fine. So yes, I'm a UX researcher here at Onmo.
Okay.
So we are a credit card provider, kind of working to create a company and a product that is focused around kind of really clear, no nonsense financial products. So today you're going to be helping me understand a bit about your experience and expectations when using our kind of new and improved app that we've been busy redesigning and rebranding over the summer. So to start off, get to know you a bit better. I've got a few questions just regarding spending habits, credit card usage, and experience with other financial products.
Yep,
but
cool.
You don't need to tell me anything you're not comfortable with. And then we're going to be looking at some stuff on the phone. So what we're looking at today, it's still in development, still prototype. So if something doesn't work as you'd expect, just let me know.
Fine, no
And as you go through the app, so when we're looking at things on the phone, if you just tell me what you're thinking and feeling out loud.
Okay.
It's kind of important. We mentioned both positive and negative stuff. Kind of really helpful to kind of help us figure out. So like as I mentioned, I'm the kind of UX person. I didn't design any of this we're looking at today, so can't take any credit or criticism. So no holds barred. Nothing's going to offend anyone. Because this is we're testing the app. We're not testing you. So you can't do anything wrong. Free to end the session at any time or take a break. Just let me know. I'm gonna have some people observing, but it's all done through these stuff. And just need you to sign the consent form. So let me just make sure I'm getting the right one. David, there you are. Sign. I'll get you. So you might need to come around this side just because it's
on screen.
Yeah, it's on screen. So there we go. Continue. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So just your address and your email address.
Home address, yeah?
Yeah, home address, yeah. And then just your email address in that box there. Or you just click, you just click it before you do it. There you go. Yeah, and then, wait, 1 second, sorry, and then, we go, and then sign, yeah. So you just click sign.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And then just put participant. Can tell our solicitors made this. And that's good. Perfect. I'll finish that off. So you basically what this is outlining is kind of your consent to have everything recorded today, and obviously like GDPR, where keep all your details safe, all covered. Would you like a copy of this sent to you?
Yeah, please, but just for the sake of it, it's not because
what's your email address, sir?
It's that most inappropriate one. I apologise.
What is it? I didn't see it.
It's touchd@live.com.
touchd@live.com.
I've had it for so long now, I can't get rid of it. And it was very innocently made, but it sounds so inappropriate.
There we go. Sorry, I need to fix the camera a wee bit. There we go. Okay, perfect. We're all good. I'm going to start recording. I'm starting my stream. Okay. So could I ask, who do you currently hold credit cards with, and why did you select them?
Okay, so 2 credit cards, nationwide.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's 3, but one's virtual, and that's coming along a lot later. So nationwide, you've got Barclays, and then you've got Monzo.
Yeah. So Monzo, obviously a debit account.
Well, it's they have a virtual credit card.
Okay, so that's a virtual credit card.
In that sense, but the 2 are more of the traditional.
Yeah, so that's a Barclay card.
Yeah.
And can I ask why you selected these?
Oh, so Nationwide, it was the first one I ever had,
Mm-hmm.
back in my teens. And for Barclaycard at the time, it was a constantly low APR, so it's something like 6.4.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked the other day, and I think it's something along the lines of the lowest constantly low APR can get is maybe 10, something like that. So.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on kind of the service that kind of Nationwide and Barclays are providing?
I think it's hopefully philosophical. Banks are there to make money, and they're there to make money from us. Mm-hmm. So you can never make money off a credit card if you pay it off every month in full.
Yeah.
It's when you don't, then it comes into view. But in terms of what they offer and the distance that they've travelled from the paper-based to apps to the digital inclusion to be able to look at your spending habits, it's moved on monumental on both sides, just across the industry is what I would say.
Okay, so, but what are your thoughts on the kind of service they provide you?
It's not really a problem in that sense. That's what it says on the tin. You have access to the data, whether that be via the app or via a phone call. But generally most things can be found now online, whether that be a desktop or app, and service is decent.
Okay. And what was the kind of main driver for you to take out a credit, like these credit cards?
Just for the fact of they're kind of mini loans effectively, so there's no questions asked as long as you can pay it back within a time. It's not a problem, and if you can't, then you have a rough idea of what you're up against and the pitfalls if it goes wrong, and then what you can do to get rid of that.
So why did you take out these credit cards?
So at the time for Nationwide, it was the first one.
Yeah.
And then for the Barclaycard particularly, it was because it was a case of the rate was so low that, like, if ever there was a case of you needed short-term cash quickly, it wouldn't be too expensive to be able to use or borrow. You're not going to take cash out for it, but to be able to use it for purchases.
Yeah, okay. And kind of what's your understanding of how having a credit card affects you financially?
It's more, it has an impact on your credit file if you don't keep up with the payments, or at least make the minimum payment each month. And obviously the APR compounds if you are not able to pay back quickly based on what you've borrowed.
Okay. So yeah, understand your credit file, your credit score.
Yeah, there's long-term implications for you and the ability to get credit in the future if you mess up your credit file to some degree by not making the payments.
Do you currently have any insurance products?
So home insurance and in terms of bike insurance.
Okay, so home and bike insurance. So what's your knowledge of kind of life insurance?
It's a bit of a gambit, and where you pay into a policy, and depending on which type of policy you have, or depends on how much you pay out. So, okay, I believe I'm going to roughly live for this amount of years. Okay, you do, then you lose it, and if you don't, and they pay out, then you win, or your family wins, should I say, because you'll be gone.
Okay, so is this a product that you would be interested in?
Yeah, I think with all kinds of products, etc., there's an offering from both sides. The offering is in which the banks say, we're giving you this, what do you think? And then you say to yourself, yes, I agree with this, or no, I don't. And then you kind of put your money where your mouth is. So I'm not a betting man, but it's a bit like going to the bookies. The bookies present odds. You then think to yourself, okay, I like these odds, yes or no. But
would this be, but getting a product like this be of interest to you?
Yeah, it's very much what's on offer, if that makes sense. Yeah. So what is the company saying for what they want, which is the money, and then take it from there. And
have you ever offered this through one of your banking providers? How would you feel about that?
I think you've got the trust element if it comes through your bank, or if your bank's recommending it to some degree, and then you can then look at it. The filtering's been done because it comes via the bank, so therefore you're not as on guard, and you think, okay, this is the trust element is already there.
What about a credit card provider?
Along the similar lines, I'd say.
Okay. And how much would you expect to pay for something like this?
What, for life insurance?
Yeah.
I think I understand that the metric is how much do you want to pay out? How much do you want potentially to pay out? So that gives you an understanding of how much to pay in. I'd say between 50 to 100.
50 to 100.
I'm thinking as a figure, again, depending on when you start as well.
Yeah. So if you were offered this for £15 through your credit card provider, 15 for life insurance, how would you feel about that? 15.
It sounds immediately appealing.
Yeah. Okay. And how do you think you would kind of apply for something like that with a credit card provider?
You just want to. The first thing is to have an understanding of the devil in the detail, or the kind of T's and C's, and then you have an understanding of what's been asked.
So how would you feel applying for it through a banking application?
Yeah, it's wouldn't be a problem. It's part of modern life in which you're applying through an application or an app or something like that. So yeah, it wouldn't be a problem to me. Okay.
And how would you feel about using a broker in this scenario? So say it was you did it through an app and then you had to speak to a broker, kind of.
So I work in property, so speaking to brokers, etc., is au fait with what they do and why they're trying to get you potentially the best deal. So it doesn't bother me in that sense, and understand what they do.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's all the questions I have for you, just about getting started. Okay, so we're going to look at the app now. I just want to remind you that this is a prototype, so again, some things may not work as expected. Again, speak out loud, tell me what you're thinking. And yeah, okay, so, 1 second, that's just disconnected. Oh, come on, connect phone. There we go, 1 second. There we go, we're back. Okay. So I'd like you to imagine that you have recently completed the application for an online credit card, and you've been successful. So you've just completed the application and you download the app and you log in. So what would you do next? So you want to log in.
So it would be, first one is login, press the one at the bottom.
So you've just completed your application and you see this. Can you tell me what's happening here?
So effectively it's sending, from what I can see, you've got the card here saying it's pending card activation. Based on previous experience with that, I would expect to go in and verify that the card I've got physically, if it's a physical card, I've got to do something, put in a PIN, something that confirms it's me, then to get the card activated. But before that, I can see there's a balance of £2,000 on there, and then you've got your further details. So you've got the typical gear icon on the left-hand side, which is manage. Then you've got statements and insights. Insights would be spending habits, etc.
Okay. So let's say, so you've been, a couple of days has gone by.
Yep.
So if you tap it, sorry.
Which one do you want to tap?
So you just tap it anywhere on the screen.
Okay, yep.
And you see this. What are you thinking here?
Your card is being printed. I'm assuming that I've done my bit and my card is basically being dispatched towards my address.
Okay. So how many days do you think it would take for your card to arrive?
I'd say within a week, but usually those things are relatively quick, so 3 to 5 days, but a week is time, especially if it's coming by the post.
Okay. So you get a notification that your card has been sent, so you open the app, you press it again, just anywhere. Oh, okay. A second, it's thinking about something. Come on, prototype, don't let me down.
Don't worry.
No. Sorry, 1 second. There we go.
Thank you. Press it again?
Yes, if you just...
Okay, so it says your card is on its way. It should arrive in 7 business days.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, pretty standard. So what's that? That's 1 week or 5 days, and then a Monday and Tuesday. So it's 1 week from the Monday to the Monday, and then maybe Tuesday or Wednesday it should arrive, but depending on when you've ordered it or when you've done it. So yeah.
Okay. So you get your new cards through the mail,
Mm-hmm.
and you go into the Omno app. Just tap it one more time. Sorry.
Okay, card is out for delivery. Okay, so now I've got the card. Assuming from this, yeah.
So what would you do next?
So press the purple button.
Yes, and I can see it here.
All right, no probs. So activate my card is what I would press to then start to activate the card.
Okay, so yeah, it is. And feel free to just click as you wish.
Okay, no probs. Okay, so then it's asking me to confirm that I have it physically, so that I can put in the CVV number, the 3 digits on the back.
So your CVV is 123. Yeah.
Confirm. Okay.
And you've set your passcode up during onboarding. So it's 123456.
Okay, no problem. Okay, that's going through. Your card is now active and ready to use.
So how did you find that process?
Yeah, simple. It's what happens. Again, Monzo, Starling, from a disruptor bank's perspective and most other banks, you've got that 2-part process where just to verify it's you, they send it to an address that you specify, and then you confirm details on the card that in theory only you would know.
Okay. So yeah, you feel like it's pretty standard to what you used to. Okay. Okay. So now I'd like you to imagine that you've been using your credit card for some time now. You've been kind of going through making everyday transactions. So if you tap go to accounts, tap once again.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, some time's passed, and yeah, like I said, you've been making everyday transactions, paying bills, etc. So I just want you to look at the accounts page and talk me through this page, kind of explore. This is a fully interactive prototype, so feel free to click wherever you want.
Okay.
And yeah, just tell me what you're thinking as you go through.
So you've got, let's have a look, insights. Okay, so front and centre is the biggest part of the screen is taken up by 2 things, the card and then the available credit, and then the remaining balances below, which makes sense to me because it just tells you what you've got left to spend and what's going on. You can then go into insights, and then you've got, again, it's weighted by the amount of space it takes up and the colour for whatever reason of how much purchases you've made. So your biggest purchase has been online purchases. Then it's categorised that you've spent money in the group of entertainment of 216, then subscriptions, then ATM withdrawals, and then it goes down. So let's have a look, all times, not weekly. And then it tells you again another breakdown into sort of a kind of KPI of your subscriptions over the course of this week was 200, entertainment was 160, and the ATM withdrawal of 120. Okay, cool.
So if we could just go back into insights just while we're there. So kind of what's your understanding and experience of using something like insights within a credit card?
This might sound not hopefully blunt, but the information is the information. It's how it's displayed is very much subjective and bespoke to the user. So for, this one's made it very, very simple in terms of how much space it takes up within these kind of strips or bars, gives you an understanding of how much you spent. So you've got your total at the bottom, and then above that is what your total is made up for on the month, and the same metric works for the week. And then you would have one for all time as you've accumulated more spend over the course of your, how do you say, Onmo career in a sense.
How would you use a feature like this personally?
It would then be a case of just seeing where you are, and I assume, make an assumption if it's like others, in which you can categorise the spending more specifically if needed. So you have some stuff which is subscriptions, and I assume the app tries to do its best to put it into subscriptions, but some things may not be correctly in that category. So you might be able to redistribute that to where it goes, or categorise it so then it goes into the correct place. And then it gives you a break, it gives you the opportunity to, what gets measured gets tracked, or the other way around. So because it's always being tracked, you can measure it and you can have an understanding of where you are spending, why you're spending, and to some degree you can either do more of it or less based on what you know. So that's how I would use it. And then if you think to yourself, cool, I don't drink coffee, so it doesn't bother me, but I'm spending a lot of money on the morning coffee, maybe I could do that from home and save myself X, whatever it is. So it's kind of, the name is on there. Insights give you insights. It's then down to the user to take that forward and do something useful with the information.
Yeah. And what is the type of data that you would like to see here?
So maybe a graph form, but that's not critical. Again, a good thing I would say, I assume with most banks you have the CSV file. So you could download, and if you can navigate your way around Excel, you can get not more information, but you can display the information in a more user-friendly way for yourself. Not that this isn't user-friendly, but just more in-depth.
Okay, so you kind of want a bit more in-depth information.
Yeah, well, that's kind of, I'm saying, I come from a bit of a spreadsheet background, so you can do more. It's more, what was I say? You've got more dexterity with it on that, but that's nothing to do with the app. That's just an extra. Yeah. As you see here, front and center, this is more than amicable.
So what more in-depth information would you want to get from it?
So you've got your online purchases, you're going to have your dates and times. Maybe just, you've got this display, maybe a pie chart, or when I say pie chart, just something which is the typical cake split into segments, or you can have your bar chart graph just showing it going up that way, but that's more a display feature rather than a case of this information is extremely simple, but that's not to take away from it. It's useful to say the least, especially because the amount of space it takes up, it gives you an understanding of where it's weighted.
So what do you think the size of the boxes indicate within here?
The amount of spend. That's gone on. So online purchases on here is your biggest spend, which is why it takes up the most amount. So what would you say? That's maybe 35 to 40%, roughly speaking, based on what we can see there. 15% for arts and entertainment. So for example, on the iPhone, you've got two views. You've got that battery, or you can scroll down, you've got battery percentage.
That's fine. Sorry, I don't need to see it. Sorry, I've got it here.
Yeah, so in that sense, maybe a percentage number with it.
Okay.
In that regard.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, feel free to go back to the kind of explore more in this.
So you've got that one. So you've got your statements, let's say 2023. So 2023, you can show that, theoretically speaking, there's been a big history of spends. So you can, in what format would you like to see statements? Okay, so you've got CSV, as I said, you've got PDF. So let's just see PDF if it lets me go.
What's your understanding kind of the statements?
You've just got two types. So you've got the PDF version, which in theory allows you to, most people have the ability to view a PDF either on their phone or computer. And with the CSV, it's just the number file, but again, allows a lot of flexibility if you put it into a spreadsheet, and you can basically tailor it to what you need.
Okay.
And then the standard thing, you've got the custom date, and then you've got obviously your scroll here. It's not working, but that's not a problem, where you can spin between September, whichever custom date you want to then look at the information. So you're looking at something particular.
So if you tap this September date, I think it's,
Okay, yes, so start date, August, end date, confirmed dates. And again, which formats do you want it in? And then you can go through from there. So you've got that one. We've done the insights. It says you've got manage Apple Pay, manage direct debits, manage credit limits, order a new card. So standard stuff now that you would expect to see from the kind of dispensing with the ability to go to a brick and mortar bank if there was one, but if there wasn't, then effectively you can manage the whole process by yourself, and so you only have to call the company if there's something on here that I haven't thought of or you're not able to do.
Okay.
That's all it is. Okay, Apple Wallet, which is standard, manage direct debits. Yeah.
So we'll look at that a bit later. Sorry.
Where do you want me to go?
So no, just feel free to explore.
Okay, so recent transactions show all.
So what's happening here?
So this one is giving you a category of spend. So how often you've used it. So 9th of August, and then so it looks like from what I can see, £48.45 has been paid into the account against Amazon, and the rest I would assume are debits because they're in black.
What do you mean? So that as in
money that's been taken away from your total. So these are costs that you will have to basically cover, but payment was made to the account of £48.45, I believe.
What do you think that is?
In terms of?
As in, like, why is the money?
Because of the plus.
Okay.
Usually, so everyone does it differently. Some people don't have anything, and then they might have a little minus sign, or some people have a colour to go against it to show. So assuming these are all black and there's only one green, that to me says, and because of the plus.
So the money has gone
towards the account, yeah.
Okay.
Either a payment or could be a refund, but
Okay.
usually if it's a refund, there would be some sort of ID for that.
Okay. So so let me rephrase this. Sorry, you'd like to find out more information about a transaction you made for Burgerland on the 14th of May. So how would you do that?
So Burgerland 14th of May, so let's have a look. So let's go to statements.
So it's just one transaction you want to look at?
Burgerland on the 14th of May.
14th of May, yeah, 14th of, it's the 9th of August, I've got it written wrong.
Okay, so I've got in there, I can see it like front and centre. So you've got two payments here on the 5th of June, but just one above that you've got on the 9th of August, and then Burgerland is the very bottom one, £21.99.
So how would you find out more information on that?
So you click into it, I would believe, and then there you go. So then it gives you more of a breakdown, which has then got your Burgerland. I don't know if that's their logo or logo that's for food. And then you've got the amount, the date, and the location, and the map.
So what's your thought on the information here?
What's
What's your thoughts on the information provided here?
Yeah, it's clear and concise. So kind of in a hierarchy, say how much, then the date, then location. And then you've got your little map, roughly speaking, of what it is. And again, if this happens when you make a lot of transactions, or sometimes the merchant has a description which you don't recognise or don't know, then you might look at that and think, what was that about? And then this kind of thing just helps to clarify where the money's spent. And then once you know what it is, then generally you're kind of okay, there isn't a problem because I done it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So figure out where I am. Do you think there's anything missing from that page?
So let's go back to Burgerland. You've got the stereotypical kind of help of I don't recognise this payment, so you can go from there. Burgerland. It's not missing, but this is just a thought. It doesn't have to be. Where I was talking about the graph or what this counts towards your total.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So, for example, maybe an accumulation. So under the entertainment banner, this particular £21.99 represents this much towards that category so far, whether that be 5%, 2%, 1%, or some sort of ability to compartmentalise and categorise where you are, your insides. Just a further kind of drill down, but nothing too technical. Just a potential graph or pictorial information, maybe.
So, kind of what this adds to your insights.
Yeah, sort of thing. But as a kind of brief glance look.
Okay. So bringing in insights to transactions. Okay. Do you think you could? Is there anywhere else you think you could kind of view that information?
So you could also view it in Insights, but I'm thinking just underneath the map, because there's space there, and you could just have something which isn't not too in your face, but just a kind of, even if it's text and a small picture, whatever it may be. That's what I was thinking. But again, that's not critical, and if it was never there, it wouldn't bother me. Just an idea.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, feel free to.
Okay, so you've got that. So okay, you've got your card. So you've got. Okay, so you've got two cards on here, which is the credit card and the debit card, obviously denoted in different colours. The same, well, purple, but one's a lighter hue, and a slightly different pattern on the top right hand corner. So let's go here. Let's look into this. You've got £750 on there. Then your payees on the right hand side.
So the debit card is interactive, but yeah.
Yeah. So kind of, I've gone back to it, but just so I can see. So payees, if you wanted to pay money, statements, manage, same sort of thing. And again here, where you've spent your money. Again, £320 has been added from what I can see for Sophie Bradley. Maybe she's paid some of them. Let's have a look. So you've got that, manage Apple Pay, manage direct debits, which we went to, your credit card limit, which is if you wanted to reduce.
So if we go back to the home page, the accounts page, sorry, what's your understanding of this balance breakdown before we click it?
What, the available credit and balance?
So you see balance breakdown.
Oh, right, okay. I assume it's the difference between the two numbers, what it should be.
So what would you expect to see when you click it?
Maybe something like a scale or something denoting kind of how much is left and how much is gone.
Okay.
That's what I think it would be.
So how much is left to do what?
So how much is left to spend and how much is available.
Okay.
Out of your total credit limit.
Okay, so if you select it.
Yeah, there you go.
So what do you think's happening here?
So what have you got here? So balance breakdown, available credit 1460, credit limit is 2000. So what have you spent? 40 to 500. So 540 is what you've spent in terms of your credit, or spending this period 600. There you go. Pending transactions 120, interest is 20, repayments minus 200. Okay, statement balance. So it gives you, so at the bottom or bottom part of it, which is giving you a slightly different colour, again to separate the two, even though it's in the same kind of column, it just shows you your balance is 540. So it's a minimum payment you need to make is 96, and when you need to do it by 1st November 2023. And then just above that is how you've arrived at that situation.
Okay. How do you feel about this information?
Yeah, it's again, it's clear. It's kind of taking you down from top to bottom continually, and that's kind of the running theme throughout the app. Sometimes it might be in the other order, but there's kind of a thing where it's taking you in a linear fashion, is what I would say. So, in theory, there should be very little issues in working out where you are and why.
And how do you feel about being able to see this information?
Yeah, it's good. It's what you would expect. Is a thing. So it's not to be critical. It's not groundbreaking, but it doesn't need to be. Again, it's not all singing all that. It doesn't need to. It just needs to give you the information you need when you need it, and that's it, in my view. So you kind of, it's very clear. You've got good colour theory here, being used. You've got your kind of three colours. You've got your white, slightly different purple again, and the green. And the green's used for money, so it makes sense.
Okay. I should tell backwards. Let's just check. You mentioned about obviously being able to see percentages with insights. So we go into insights, and if you select entertainment, how do you feel about seeing this information?
Okay. Yeah, it's good. It gives you understanding of how it's then arrived. So you spent money in a Virgin gym, and then Spotify, Disney Plus, Netflix, and then something on Steam, whatever that is. So my question would, not question, but the suggestion is where you've got that, but you need that because online purchase is 620. Also entertainment. So each of them have got a breakdown as to what's gone on, which is why it went down to the first two. Yeah, okay.
So how do you feel about that extra level?
Yeah, it's what you'd expect. It's good. Again, so it's led by date order. So the most recent is at the top, and then it shows you. And I assume, regardless of what the cost would be, the most recent would be at the top. Okay. The most recent date, sorry.
Is there anything else you'd like to see here?
No, I wouldn't say so. Not from this.
Okay. So, okay. So I would now like you to imagine that you need to make a one-off payment against your credit card.
Mm-hmm.
So from the accounts page, could you please show me how you would do this?
Okay, so again, the button, so in the, I'm not saying, you're a UX designer so you would know, but obviously colour, bold, and they give instantly attraction to us. So you can see the make a repayment in purple with the arrow action telling you what to do. So you hit that first, and then there you go. So it's saying that you can, okay, what you can do, minimum amount, which is £40, which has been calculated for you. A new balance, pay more. Okay, so tells you what your new balance will be. Then at the top, you've got 3 options under make a repayment, minimum amount, full balance, custom amount. And so again, you can then take one of those 3 choices.
Okay. So how would you change?
On the far right hand side, you've got custom amount. You click that, and then again you can specify how much you want to put in. And then once you're happy with what you're saying you're going to pay, you've got done on the bottom right hand corner, just above the keypad.
So you mentioned the financial well-being tips under the minimum amount.
Okay, yes.
So what's your understanding? What's your thoughts about this?
It's kind of, not that there is, but the conscience or the Jiminy Cricket saying to you, look, if you continue to do this level, it's going to cost you more. And as it says, pay more will help you to reduce your interest costs over time. Again, because there isn't that physical person in the bank to advise you or maybe tell you something. It's kind of a prompt or tooltip which lets you know what you need to do or what you should do.
And how do you feel about being shown this information?
It's good. It's informative. On the flip side, the resident, so the customer can't say that they didn't know or wasn't aware, or there would be some sort of mitigating circumstance as to how they've fallen into the situation.
Okay. So you mentioned full balance. What would you expect to see under full balance? Like what the amount? Like not specifics, but like how would you expect it to have been kind of calculated?
Based on what you've spent, I assume to your statement. It could be 2 things: either your statement, your previous statement, or current. One out of the 2. So
what's your understanding of full balance and statement balance?
So it depends on. So statement balance is that. Let's, for example, if your statement runs from the 1st to the 10th, then it's all the money that you've spent between the 1st and the 10th that you need to clear before a certain day. And if it's your full balance, it's everything that's on the card.
Okay. And full is everything on the card?
Everything, yeah, so that once you make that payment, it will go back to 0.
And what would you expect to see under the full balance?
The total spend is what I would say, or all the money that's been accumulated over a course of time.
So everything on the card?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd expect to be pay. Sorry, let me rephrase this. You would expect to be paying everything that's charged on the card when you select full balance.
Currently,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Again, if you were in the rhythm, you would have when I say once you've made, you need 3 months of purchases, let's just say, and once you're in that, you understand that you're either paying the previous balance, statement balance, or you're going to potentially on this one say, now clear everything, go back to zero.
Okay. So what did you select it?
Okay, so on the full balance it's saying it's 240. Paying the full balance helps maintain a better credit score. So that to me says that there was, under this prototype or this situation, 240 was what's been achieved on the card, and that's what you then need to pay to go back to zero once this payment's been made.
Okay. So you would like to pay £20 towards your bill. How would you do this?
So for me it would be custom amount. You've got the 20 already selected. Press done.
Or if you just press like the keypad, maybe. Sorry.
Okay, yep. And then again, it just tells you what your new balance will be. And then again, another Jiminy Cricket kind of warning that you need to pay £30 before the 5th to cover your minimum payment.
And how do you feel about saying that?
Yeah, you're informed, so you know what you need to do and by when. If not, then there's going to be a charge.
Okay. What would you do next?
Very bottom, select payment method. Hit that.
So you'd like to use a new account to pay this?
So from saved accounts, which is in purple, go to the one to the right, which is new accounts, and then enter in details as needed, name, sort code, account number, and then I'm assuming it says save this account for future payments, but if it's a not a one-off, but usually it would be more, you'd use it more often than not, so you click that and press thing.
So yeah, if you proceed.
Okay, cool.
That would click, yeah.
Okay, no probs. And then just review payment. Yep, I'm happy with the details. Click.
So what's happening here?
Telling you where it's gone, first and foremost. Telling you what your statement balance is. Repayment amount, if you pay 10 quid. And then again, in the slightly darker hue of the purple, showing you what your remaining balance is. And then account details at the bottom, where it's come from.
Okay, and how do you feel about the information provided on this page?
Yeah, just a quick kind of summary of what you're about to do. Are you okay with it? Yes or no? Yes. Confirm. No. Top left hand corner. You can go back.
Okay. So how would you proceed?
Click on the bottom, confirm payment. And then you've got your confirmation of what's happened. Thanks, your payment's been made. And then the option to go back to the home screen or go to accounts.
So how did you find that process?
Yeah, similar. What happens?
Similar to what?
Banks and apps that I've used.
Okay. Anything else or?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I'd now like you to make a minimum payment using, and this time you want to use your on-mode debit card. So how would you go about doing this?
Okay, so minimum payment. So let's have a look. So
you want to get a minimum payment against your credit card.
From there to there. So from here, it would go. You can see. So go to pays.
Sorry, let me rephrase. You want to make a minimum payment for your on your credit card, but just using the money would be coming out of your on-mode debit card. So payment on your credit card.
So paying the credit card.
Paying the credit card using your on-mode debit account.
So if I've understood this correctly, go to pays.
So what would you be trying to do there?
So from here, if I'm trying to send it from the...
So you're trying to pay your credit card,
mm-hmm.
but just using the debit card.
Okay. So if I'm just... So I would instinctively go to the debit card because that's where it's coming from and go into. So it's coming from there and then going towards the credit card. So that's where I'd make the payment from.
And then you who would you send that money to if you're paying a credit card?
I would send it to the details on the card, which so generally credit cards, well, you usually have an account number and sort code, and the reference is the 16-digit number, which is obviously on the back nowadays. So let's have a look. Manage. Order card details. Let's have a look. Okay, Face ID. So I've got my card number, which I know, but I don't know what the account number and sort code is for it.
For the credit card?
For the credit card, yeah.
Is there any other way you think you could pay your credit card off using your debit?
You might be able to do an internal transfer, but I'm just trying to think of. Usually, not that I know of. I'm just trying to think no, because you usually need the account number and sort code for that particular entity to be able to do it.
So what about going through make a repayment?
Okay, so make a repayment, yeah.
So you want to make a minimum payment. You're paying towards your credit card, but just using your debit card.
Okay, so it's review payment. So you've got the debit card. Okay, so that's already been set up as a saved account. So now you've got that review payment. Okay, minimum you said. Minimum amount. Okay, fine. Review payment. Got it there. So I can see where it's coming from, which is the details of the review payment, confirm payment. So you have insufficient funds on your debit card. Transfer funds from your direct debit account to complete this rate payment. Go to accounts.
So what's happening here?
It's saying that there wasn't enough money to basically make the purchase in your current account. So you then need to fund that with some money before you can then pay the minimum amount.
So what would you do next?
Follow what it says here, so go to accounts, and then now it's taking you back to the home screen, and then okay, so here it says I've got $750 and I was only trying to pay $4.
Yeah, so the numbers.
Okay, right, fine. So transfer money.
What would you expect to see under that? If you just tell me what you expected.
Okay, that because this bit doesn't work, does it?
Yeah,
okay, fine. So when I hit transfer money, it would then give me the ability to then transfer money to who, and then if they're already set up, the details would be there. If they're not set up, gives you the option to add a new payee.
So who would you be adding money to if you wanted to pay off your credit card?
You'd be adding the credit card account details.
Okay, so you want to pay it off by adding it as a payee?
Yes, I'm thinking of what I've done in the past previously. So when you've got a new credit card, what's the account number and sort code for the credit card, and then what's the reference number, because they receive thousands of payments a day, so then they then tally your credit card number with the details to make it happen.
Okay, so how would you rectify the issue of the insufficient funds?
So you'd have to add money to your account. So again, under here it's saying it's transfer money, so that's the only option that I can see. Yeah. So
what steps would you go through to add money to this debit card?
Based on this, it's transfer money.
And what would you expect to see there?
The ability to take or obtain money from one place to then top up the card.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Anything else you want to add on that, or?
Only based on what's been said. So usually, whenever I've had a new credit card, you'd find out from when you activate it, which is back in the day was back on the phone. You would ask there and then, how do I obtain the account number and details for the card? So maybe that option to find that out. What's the account number and sort code? This doesn't work any differently in the banking system, and then they usually prompt you to say the reference is your 16-digit number. But outside of that, no.
Perfect. So you would like to take the stress out of making one-off payments each month. So you want to set up a direct debit.
Yep.
So from your account page, where do you think you would set up like a direct debit so payment is made against your credit card each month?
I saw this previously. Make a repayment. Manage. There we go. Under the manage screen, and you've got manage Apple Pay, manage direct debits. And then click inside there, gives you the prompt of what to do, and then press continue. And then it's going to tell you the pros of doing this. So never miss a payment day, timely payments, etc. Choose between minimum full balance. Then you go through set up your direct debit. And then which account would you like to use for your direct debits? So you can use the current debit account that you have here, or for whatever reason another bank if you're with someone else.
So you'd like to use another bank in this scenario? So
click that one, press continue. Again, the big purple square and the purple button at the bottom, continue, are unified. So it gives you an understanding that you've done it right. Enter in your obligatory details, full name, sort code, account number, then press done.
So if you select the keypad.
Cool. Press continue. Okay, and then so it's got your correct details and know this can happen. Now it's telling you what do you want to do, minimum amount or full balance.
So how do you feel about these options?
Yeah, it's a direct debit, so you're doing this so that you don't fall foul of never missing a payment. So then the choice is up to you after that. You've only got two choices. You wouldn't be in this kind of this scenario if you wasn't prepared to do it. So fine.
So what would you select?
Again, it's bespoke, but ideally full balance.
Okay. And how would you feel about having a custom amount?
I think it's a good option. If you've provided the custom amount elsewhere, so I don't think it's going to harm you to put it in here either.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So when you were making a payment, you had on one you had minimum payment, full balance, custom amount. So if you wanted to make a payment in between, that's fine. So you might say to yourself, okay, I know I spend a lot, but I'm going to put in £50 a month regardless. Doesn't matter, and I'll always top up the rest.
Okay. So yeah, you can proceed with full balance.
Same sort of thing. So you've got the ability to edit account information if something's gone wrong, whatever reason. Confirm debit. Cool. Get another confirmation telling you what you've done is correct, etc. Save.
So how did you find that process?
Yeah, it's normal. Normal and what you'd expect. And I think the two are constantly in a wave of interchangeable. That's what I expect, so it's normal, so what I expect. Either or, and that's ideally what you're looking for. It's not foreign to what you understand.
Yeah. Okay. Just got a couple of questions just to wrap up. So how would you describe your overall experience with the app we looked at today?
It's painless, is what I would say. And I think that's what you're trying to do. Credit cards are there to fulfill a function, and they're kind of a necessary evil or annoyance. So the less annoyance or evil they are, the less problems they are.
Okay, and what makes you kind of say that, the less annoyance?
So it's something that you have to deal with. So the easier and the less friction there is to deal with it, the better it is, sort of thing. So before this information, if you wanted this type of insider information, invariably you'd have to go inside to a brick and mortar shop, where now, because of mobiles and devices, you're able to do this yourself. And so that's where you want it to be able to kind of, for a better analogy, like a bank robber, get in, get out, and carry on with your daily life. And that's it.
Okay. If you had a magic wand and you could change anything about the app today, what would it be and why?
Maybe this is more of a cherry on top personally, right? It's not critical, but just the graphical information, let's say the graphs, etc., because it's what people understand. So people may not, if you think, or as a designer, a lot of stuff that we see is subliminal, And so we might not say it, but we understand where it should be and why. And so when you see stuff at a glance, it gives you the ability just to look and read at something and know instantly what it is, rather than having to go and press something. It's not critical if you do, but it gives you the opportunity to know at first hand. There's only so much you can fit in a screen, but it's kind of being choosy as to what those things are and do customers like it.
And kind of more specifically, like within the app that we looked at today, could you describe that a bit more in terms of what that would look like?
So let's go back to your home screen. So it's more to do specifically when in the insights, for example, that I'm talking about that graphical information, nowhere else. As you dive deeper into something, it gives you the ability to see at a glance what something is, rather than having to go into it. Again, that's nitpicking.
No, that's all really useful. Okay, is there anything you'd like to add or anything you'd like to mention?
No, it's a stereotypical offering that I would expect to see, and then it comes down to a case of, based on what you see here, do customers like that offering in terms of the terms and conditions, not the interface, etc., because the interface is pretty normal and standard, and it gives you the stuff you need.
Mm-hmm. And how do you find the kind of design in general, like purely the kind of UI?
Yeah, it's nice. It's simple, which is kind of how it is. So it's not cluttered. You've got good spacing between there, good negative space, and then you've got your standout features. So the things that are supposed to stand out are there either by colour or by bold or a slightly raised element to them. You've got your contrast between white. So you've got your three colours here. You've got your white. I don't know what the hue is, but that kind of slightly subtle purple just underneath. And you've got the brighter purple. And those things are all telling you what to do where appropriate. It's leading you.
Okay, perfect. Do you have any questions for me before we finish?
No?
All good? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in today. So what'll do that. So it'll be tomorrow, latest Friday, that we'll be sending over the incentives. I have to deal with finance girls, but yeah. It will be, yes, I get an updated email from Kate, the recruiter,
yes.
And we'll be dealing with that. But yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for coming in. I'm
No
just going to
problem at all.
stop this stream and I'll walk you down.